Because honestly, the only real reason why you even feel like an imposter or a fraud or a fake or a person that's just really not living in their truth is if you're really not living in your truth for real. If you really don't even believe in what you're doing. And most of the time, you don't believe in what you're doing because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing what other people are doing. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Mindful Vibes 365 podcast, where we have productive and stimulating conversations about how to be more mindful in all the areas of your life. I'm your host, Malaysia, and we have such a productive and stimulating conversation today, you guys. I have been doing some thinking. Y'all know I'm always doing some thinking. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I think I have really gotten to the bottom of why people suffer from imposter syndrome. Like, today's episode is really going to just make you sit and think and reflect, because I really think this conversation today is going to shift how you see yourself, how you show up, and honestly, how hard you've been on yourself. Okay. So like I said, we are talking about imposter syndrome, you guys, but not in the way that people usually talk about it. Okay. This is not a sad sob episode where we're talking about how we feel because of imposter syndrome. No, I'm going to pull you out of that, because honestly, I don't think imposter syndrome is about insecurity. Okay. Like, I don't even think it's about you not being confident enough or qualified enough or talented enough. I honestly think imposter syndrome comes from misalignment. Okay. Hear me clearly. Imposter syndrome comes from misalignment. And I feel like once you start to understand this, it's going to become a lot easier to release the pressure and stop comparing yourself, and finally really just start moving with clarity in your life. So if you've ever felt like you struggle to stay consistent, or you start things and you don't fully follow through, or you feel like everyone else has it figured out and it's coming so easy to everybody else except for you, or you feel like you're forcing yourself to be something that truly doesn't feel natural, this episode is going to be perfect for you. So sit back and relax, and let's really get into this productive and stimulating conversation. Now, like I said, most people don't struggle with imposter syndrome because they're incapable. They struggle because they're trying to view themselves and their life through the lens of other people, instead of looking at their life through their own lens, through their own eyes, right? Does that make sense, y'all? Think about how often we do this. Okay, we scroll on Instagram and social media, we observe, we study what's working for everyone else. We watch so closely. Oh, they're going viral. Oh, they're getting so much engagement. They're getting tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of likes. And without even realizing it, we start asking ourselves questions like, oh, why don't I look like that? Why isn't my engagement as high as theirs? Why isn't this working for me when I try to do it, as opposed to it working for them? So instead of doubling down on what you're naturally good at, now you're starting to shape your identity around what looks successful on other people. And this is where the problem starts, okay? This is where it all clicked when I was thinking about this the other day, because you are no longer operating from a place of alignment when you do this. When you look at other people and you see things are working for other people, and then you try to duplicate every single last thing that they're doing, and you jump from person to person, from thing to thing, you are out of alignment. You start operating from a place of imitation, and imitation is going to always make you feel like a fraud. Hence, you're going to always suffer from imposter syndrome, not because you are an imposter or you are a fraud. It's just because you're simply not being yourself, you guys. Okay. Now let's talk about something really important. Okay. A lot of people think they're inconsistent because they lack discipline, but I'm going to free you. And I love when Myron Golden says that. So I think I'm going to start incorporating that a little bit, because it's like, I'm going to free you from the shackles of thinking these crazy thoughts. But you guys, that's not what it is. Okay. I just do not agree with that. You are not inconsistent because you lack discipline. That's not the case all the time. But most of the time, people are inconsistent because they're forcing themselves to execute on certain things that doesn't align with how they naturally thrive. So of course, it's going to feel heavy. Of course, it's going to feel hard to really get into a good rhythm and flow. Of course, it's going to feel draining. Of course, you're going to procrastinate. You're not lazy. You're just misaligned. You're trying to align yourself with the wrong shit. Okay. It's not going to work. And you're trying to walk in somebody else's calling. The longer you try to do that, the more things are not going to work out for you. Okay. That's just what it is. The longer you try to live someone else's life, the longer you try to do things that other people are doing, and you jump from this thing to that thing because you see this person going up on Instagram, you see this person going up on TikTok for this type of content. Oh, well, I made a whole bunch of money off of this. I made $100,000 from TikTok Shop. Oh, well, I made $50,000 last month from Instagram doing X, Y, and Z. So now you're looking at all of this stuff and you're like, okay, bet, I'm gonna do that. And next month I'm gonna do this. And then next week you're doing this. No, you are trying to force yourself to succeed in lanes that look good from the outside, but it actually doesn't feel good on the inside because this is not your lane. Like, this is why I say all the time, stay in your lane, keep your eyes on your own plate, run your own race, all of those things. Right? When you don't stay in your lane and you take your eyes off your own plate and you try to run in everybody else's lane, you are going to show up halfway. Right? You're not even going to be motivated to really put your all into something because you're really not even doing what's in your heart for real. You're trying to do what somebody else is passionate about. And I'm not saying that you can't do multiple different things or you can't be good at different things. But when you're in a place of your life where you're trying to basically break through a threshold, or you're trying to reach a certain level of success or an accomplishment, or reach like your first $10,000 a month business, right? Or your first $100,000 a year in business, you have to pick one thing and stick to that and get good at it. And a lot of us have natural talents and things that we can do to get us to that point. Right? You're just overlooking it because you're looking at everybody else. When you're in other people's lanes, like I said, you're going to hesitate. You stop trusting yourself. And it's not because you don't have what it takes, but it's because your inner self truly knows like you're just off course. And this is why you feel like, wow, I'm an imposter. I'm a fraud. I can't show up. I can't do this. Honestly, y'all, those feelings come from the fact of you not leaning into your own purpose and leaning into your own talents. Like, I know nobody has ever probably talked about it from this aspect before, but it honestly makes sense because think about it. If you were executing at a very, very high level in a lane or doing things that you know for sure you are a pro at, you're very good at, you can do something like the back of your hand, you know it, you're an expert, right? How could you experience the feelings of imposter syndrome? Because honestly, the only real reason why you even feel like an imposter or a fraud or a fake or a person that's just really not living in their truth is if you're really not living in your truth for real. If you really don't even believe in what you're doing. And most of the time, you don't believe in what you're doing because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing what other people are doing. You're doing what you see working for Sally, Susie, and Samantha instead of doing what's going to work for you, instead of doing what you're good at. Okay, this is why you have those feelings of imposter syndrome, because you are an imposter. You're trying to step into roles and into titles and into lanes and into areas that have nothing to do with you. Not saying that you can't step into these things and do them well, but for the most part, when you just make decisions and try to do things based on how you feel or just straight from your impulsiveness, 9 times out of 10, it's not even going to work out in your favor because you didn't even think about that thoroughly with yourself. You didn't talk to God about it like, hey, God, if this is the move that I'm supposed to make, let me know. Let me know if this is something that I need to begin, or if this is an endeavor that I need to start drowning myself into. Okay, like, you haven't did none of that. So this is why you feel like you're a fraud showing up. Simple. Like I said, just because something is working for someone else, that doesn't mean that that's a lane that you need to jump into. Like, for an example, you might have a person that is really good at doing like get ready with me content. Okay, they film their outfits, they film their morning routine and going about their day, and they're just vlogging that whole thing. They're consistent, they're disciplined, they have the aesthetics right, the visuals is right. Like, they have created a whole following based on their get ready with me videos. Cool. And then you see that and you're like, oh, well, let me just do that then. But then it just becomes extremely hard for you to sustain that. It becomes extremely hard for you to be consistent at that. It becomes extremely hard for you to put those videos together and get them out consistently, right? But on the flip side, you're good at talking head videos. A lot of people that do get ready with me's, they don't talk. It's different levels and avenues to being a content creator. Some content creators create talking videos where they can express their thoughts and communicate points. Other people do get ready with me's and show off their outfits and show off the different things that, you know, they've bought, and they're good at recording their day and vlogging and no words, just put some music over it. Some people can do both, right? But let's just say for this example, you're amazing at talking head videos. You can communicate a message from beginning to end and it's gonna pop, right? Because you're great at communicating, you're great at teaching, breaking things down, delivering messages that's actually going to move people. Both are powerful. Both are profitable and can make you money. Both are needed and what's popular on social media now. But for right now, it might only be wise for you to actually pursue and focus your attention on one of those things, which is what you're good at. If you're good at communicating and you're good at talking in front of a camera and you're good at delivering a message to people, why wouldn't you just get in front of the camera and do that and get your reps in and do that consistently every single day, right? And then see where that gets you. Okay. And when you finally start to lean into what's really you and what's really your lane for real, imposter syndrome is going to start to lose its grip on you, because you're no longer asking yourself, oh, well, why can't I be like them? Why my videos not going up like that? Oh, I want to try to get into posting more vlogs and stuff so I can get more followers. Y'all, for a long time, I was like, dang, like, what is it? Why am I stuck? I was stuck on Instagram at like 6,000 followers for years. Like, my following count would just fluctuate between like 5,500 and like 6,500. And at one point I got to 7,000, 7,500, and then boom, drop, went back to like 600, 6,200. And I swear I was stuck at that for like 5 years. And I was just like, I cannot seem to break past this barrier of 7,000, 7,500 followers or whatever. And my followers are just not growing. I'm just losing followers all the time. And I'm not really gaining any followers. It doesn't matter what I post. Like, I can post a cute little video of myself. I can post a recap video. I can post travel videos. It does not matter what it is. And I'm just like, I'm getting frustrated. But as soon as I started to be consistent, and I've always made like talking head content and like delivered messages to the people on Instagram. I've always fed the streets. Like, that has been a thing since 2018. I've always talked in front of the camera. But the level of intensity and how consistent I was, that changed. In November of 2025, so last year, a couple months ago, I posted a video every single day on Instagram for like a whole month straight. Okay. A lot of those videos went viral. Boom. Overnight, seems like, but within a couple of weeks, in a month's time, I gained like 7,000 followers. So I'm at 13,000 followers now after literally being stuck at the same following count for like 4 or 5 years. So that just goes to show you, like, when you really just say, you know what, let me focus on what I'm good at. Because if you want to develop a following, okay, in terms of Instagram, but just in terms of anything, if you really want to get good momentum and good motion going, you just have to stay consistent with what you're good at. I am very good at talking to the camera and delivering my thoughts and communicating a message to people very quickly, easily, right? I've gone viral so many times on TikTok, Instagram, all of that. And I was like, instead of me making it hard on myself, right? Because I know in terms of get ready with me and vlogs and stuff like that, I know how I am and I know how I want things to look. I want things to be aesthetically pleasing. I want a certain background, all of that stuff, right? Okay, if I know I'm not in a position to where my environment is going to look exactly how I want it to look when it comes to recording content like that, you got to work with what you got. And that's one thing that I always talk about. Do what you can until you can do what you want to do. Okay, make the content in your room in the corner when you can redo it and no one knows that's where you are, until you get to the point where you want to make content in your penthouse apartment. Okay, like, you have to really do what you can do until you can do what you want to do. And most of the times you're overlooking what you can do in the moment. Like, if you just focus on what you can do in the moment and optimize that opportunity, it's going to get you to the point where you can do what you want to do a lot faster, y'all. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into the conversation. This episode is actually sponsored by my brand, Mindful Vibes 365. If you or anyone you know are currently experiencing feelings of frustration, anxiety, depression, overstimulation, mental burnout, and just overall disconnection from God, I can guarantee you that it's time for you to reprogram your mind and vibe. And the quickest, most easiest way for you to do this is actually by fasting and detoxing from secular music. Now, as someone that did this for an entire year, I can honestly say it changed my life completely. I underwent a transformation in all areas of my life once I cut out secular music. Now, do you have to do this for an entire year? No, the transformation started weeks into my year-long fast, which is exactly why 90 days is the sweet spot. So, luckily for you guys, I created a 90-day guided workbook that's actually going to help you successfully overcome your anxiety, depression, overstimulation, mental burnout, and disconnection from God, because it's going to require you to complete a series of activities that are going to stimulate your mind and vibe every single day. This workbook is not only going to allow you to journal what's on your mind and what's your vibe for the next 90 days, it's going to help you stay on track with consuming the required productive and stimulating things that you're going to be listening to every single day. You're going to have access to recommended hand-picked sermons, audiobooks, podcasts, personal development teachings, Bible readings, gospel songs, and so much more, which are all the things that you're going to be required to listen to for the next 90 days, every single day around the clock. I can honestly go ahead and congratulate you in advance on the new person you're getting ready to become once completing this workbook, because replacing secular music with more spiritual, stimulating, productive, motivating, and uplifting tunes is going to completely change your life. So make sure you go ahead and click the link below to get a copy of your 90-day guided workbook today. I cannot wait to hear more about your transformation and the new person that you become once you complete this 90-day workbook. So congratulations again in advance. Make sure you get a copy of yours today. Click the link below. Now let's get back to the conversation. So for me, it was just like, instead of focusing on what I don't have, the environment that I'm not in, the dream place that I'm not in yet, because it's on the way, it's loading for sure. But instead of focusing on what I don't have, let me focus on what I do have and what I'm able to make shake right now. And let me focus on what I'm good at, because if I can take what I'm good at and really make it pop, I know that all of these new opportunities and resources and things are just going to flow to me, and I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to get more than what I want, but I got to lock in and focus on what I'm good at now. Okay. Not try to do what everybody else is doing because they're able to do it, or they're in a position where they can do it and it can look like this for them. But for you, that's not the case yet. Okay, so you have to take a step back and look at things from that perspective. I want people to normalize saying things like, that's not my lane right now. Period, point blank. Like, just because you could do something, that doesn't mean you should. Yes, you can make a lot of money in a lot of ways. Like I said, you can wear a lot of hats. You can try everything, but scattered energy will never outperform focused mastery. Okay, hear me clearly. Scattered energy will never outperform focused mastery. When you try to take bits and pieces of everyone else's life, you just dilute your own self, and you don't want that. Okay, this is why you feel like you're an imposter, because you're diluting yourself. But when you focus on one thing, one skill, one strength, one message, one talent, and you master it and you get your reps in and you become a pro, you become an expert, you refine it, you tweak it, retune it, whatever you got to do, and you become known for it, that's when things really start to pop off. And this is the place that you want to get to in your life. Lean into what you're good at and then make it great. I don't think y'all heard me. Lean into what you're really good at and then make it great. But don't just try to go around here being average and mediocre at a whole bunch of different things, having your hand in a whole bunch of different things. Just because you're busy, that does not mean you're productive, okay? When you ask somebody what they do and they tell you, well, I do a little bit of everything. I do this, I do that, I do this. Oh, I make music on the side. Oh, I do this on the side. Oh, da da. That person is usually full of BS, okay? And if you take a magnifying glass and look closer in their life, you'll probably realize that this person is not performing at a high level in any of the things that they're doing because they are spread so thin. They're trying to do too much. You don't get a badge of honor for doing 50 million different things. You will get a badge of honor though if you can master one thing and then take that and then expand under that umbrella. That is the point. Being able to master one thing and then from there you venture out. You don't get to the point of mastery by trying to master 10 different things at one time. It does not work like that. So let me make this practical for you and tell you guys how you can actually overcome imposter syndrome, because you know I'm never going to have an episode where I'm not giving you a viable solution or solutions. Okay, if you are dealing with imposter syndrome, I need you to ask yourself these 4 questions. Number 1, what do I naturally do well without forcing it? Okay. Number 2, what feels energizing instead of draining? What are some things that you can do that you feel good, you feel powerful, you feel energized after doing it? It doesn't feel like such a task. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I guess I'm going to get up and do this, right? And number 3, what do people consistently come to you for? Or what do people consistently compliment you on, right? That's another way that you can phrase that question. And number 4, when do I feel most like myself? Now, this question kind of goes with number 2, I think. But yeah, anyway, when do you feel most like yourself? What are you doing? What does this look like? All right. Whatever the answer is to those questions, that's your lane and you need to stay in it. Master that first. And once you've built enough confidence from there, you can expand later from a more grounded place, not from a place of comparison. So in conclusion, I want you to hear this clearly. Imposter syndrome does not mean that you are behind. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean that you're failing. It means that you're being invited back into alignment. Actually, like when you start feeling like a fraud or an imposter, that is your spirit and God telling you like, hey, I need you to come back to your true self. I need you to come back to you. You are trying to attach yourself onto other people and things that other people have going on. That's not you, baby. Okay. Come back to yourself, and then we can work on that from there. Alignment creates confidence, y'all. When you are doing what you are called to do, or when you're moving in alignment, you're going to be confident. You're going to be feeling like, yeah, right? I'm really like that for real. I'm flowing. I'm in a flow state. Why? Because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing instead of doing what everybody else is doing. Mastery eliminates doubt. If you become a master in your field, there's no way that you're going to have doubt. Period. Doubt creeps in when you're not prepared, when you haven't been getting your reps in, when you lack discipline, right? And when you simply just have not put forth the effort to truly become a master at something. So when you do prioritize mastering something and actually become a master in a certain skill or field or area of whatever, that eliminates and kills all doubt. So you don't have to walk around doubting yourself, because why would you? You're a pro. You know what you're doing. Okay. You really like that. It's nothing to question because you know what you're doing, because you've done this thing 10,000 times or more. Okay. So stop trying to win in someone else's calling. This is how you're going to get rid of that imposter syndrome. Stop forcing yourself to show up in ways that are just simply not true to you. Period. Point blank. If you don't take nothing else away from this episode, that last line, stop forcing yourself to show up in ways that aren't true to you. Yes. Okay. I want you guys to start honoring the way you were designed to move, because that's where the consistency lives. That's where that drive is going to come from, that passion. That's where the results are going to come from. And that's where the peace overall is going to come from as well. So guys, if you enjoyed this productive and stimulating conversation, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share with someone who may be experiencing imposter syndrome. Maybe you've had this conversation amongst your friends or family members, coworkers, or whoever, but I know someone else could benefit from hearing this conversation. So make sure you share that. We are growing every single day. Our subscribers, our listeners, we is going global. Okay. I got listeners in Kenya and Spain, United Kingdom, all that. Okay. I love that for me so bad. And I'm just super excited about the direction of where this podcast is headed, all the new things that we have coming in 2026. And I'm just excited to continue to build my tribe as well. So again, thank you guys for staying till the very end of this productive and stimulating conversation. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Bye.